And this video is about having a loved one, having someone you care about, seeing someone on gear, abusing gear, and wishing they would come off. And I don't even think you understand how powerful it is for them to come off. Yes, physically in their health, but emotionally, when you see someone return back to who they're supposed to be. In my case, I'm experiencing this. I've experienced this, and it really hit me hard the last time. It's such a beautiful experience. It's not the easiest experience coming off and getting natural again, but when you talk to that friend again and they've been off of gear for a while, and hopefully they stay off because they don't need it. It's so nice to speak to the real them again. How do you convince a friend to get off of gear? Spoiler alert, you can't. It's very rare that you're going to be able to tell your friend, one of your loved ones, someone you care about, hey, the gear that you're doing, I don't think that's the best option for you. And they listen to you, soak your words in a few days, a few weeks later, they come off. It's very hard to convince someone to stop using. You can't convince someone to come off of gear. It has to start with that person. You can influence their decision by telling them whatever you think may be right from your own personal experience, whether you're natural or enhanced. But I'm telling you, more often than not, what happens is it kind of just backfires. When I was abusing PEDs for the last 12 years, I had friends that would tell me, bro, what you're doing is like stupid. Like, I can see your health kind of deteriorating. I can see you just kind of becoming someone that you're not. You think I listened to them? You think a young Hart, a 24, 25-year-old Hart, an 18-year-old Hart, a 29-year-old Hart said, you know what, brother? Thank you for having my back. You have my best interest at heart. I'll hop off. Of course not. It has to come from inside the person that is already abusing. And it takes time. In today's day and age of social media, the largest influence of aiding young men and women to become unnatural and think they need this outside substance to make them feel worthy, to make them feel more self-love from themselves and from their community and their circle and their peers and the people at the gym and maybe even their mom and dad and maybe even their relationships that they have with their significant other. It has to come from within them, and it's going to take time. It took me 12 years. 12 years of cycles, insane cycles. On this channel, I don't really want to get into what exactly that I did, but it was some insane stuff that I did for a long time. It was more of a modest amount, you could say, that I did at some periods of time. I would do a lot, I would come off, I would do little, I would come off. I had this pattern and I had this cycle. But what it really came down to is why I was using and why I stayed on and why I kept coming back on is because I would have this sense of I wasn't enough. And I needed to change my body in order for me to feel like I was enough. And that would in turn make me feel like other people saw me as enough, and it would stroke my ego. And this cycle is going to continue for your loved one until they're ready to come off. Hopefully it's not a health scare and their health deteriorates and that's the reason. But that oftentimes is one of the reasons why people come off. Side effects are a massive thing, and I don't want to be fear-mongering anyone on here and exaggerating side effects, but side effects are real. I spoke about it on my most recent podcast with Lindsay Marie. I hope you guys go check out that interview. Very, very powerful. And I spoke about my hairline receding. I spoke about how I like to put my curls down because it doesn't show my hairline going back. I talk about the dark spots on my back and how they're scars from a cycle gone wrong or staying on too long, whatever it was, a mix of both. It was abuse. And I remember thinking when I was 18, 19, 20 years old, reading about the side effects. They're everywhere, right? But you don't care. And you really do think you're Superman when you're at that age where you can get influenced heavily and you just don't have enough wisdom and learned life experience to be like, you know what, I am going to hit 30 sooner than later, and I think I'm going to come off. I didn't do that. It's a tough journey to watch if you're on, if your friend is on, and this video is about having a loved one, having someone you care about, seeing someone on gear, abusing gear, and wishing they would come off. And I don't even think you understand how powerful it is for them to come off. Yes, physically in their health, but emotionally, when you see someone return back to who they're supposed to be. In my case, I'm experiencing this. I've experienced this, and it really hit me hard the last time. It's such a beautiful experience. It's not the easiest experience coming off and getting natural again, but when you talk to that friend again, and they've been off of gear for a while, and hopefully they stay off because they don't need it. It's so nice to speak to the real them again. And if anyone has friends or family members out there, and you knew them before they were natural, or excuse me, you knew them when they were natural, and now you know them as this enhanced version of themselves who probably abuses gear. How many young kids out there are abusing gear, trying to build this physique? We all have friends and oftentimes family members who are doing this, and they make excuses. Well, they make every excuse in the book to do it, to inject themselves, to use this stuff. And it's so nice to just talk to the authentic version of your friend, of your loved one. You can't convince your friend to get off gear. And honestly, if I were you, I wouldn't even try to push it on them. I would just try and be there for them and love them through it. And if they're lucky enough, they'll run into these videos. Hopefully you can share it with them. And if they're lucky enough, they'll find some information out there, or something will happen that's not a health scare, and it'll just hit them, and they'll go, you know what? I don't think this is me. I don't think abusing PEDs is me. I don't think it's worth it. Worth it because of the side effects, but the deeper situation that I'm getting at is everyone that I'm interviewing, people that I've been talking to, myself, people start using and abusing gear because there's just this super low sense of self-worth. And they use the gear as a bandage, a really dope looking band-aid. It's almost like you're a kid. You remember those like sick cartoony or images on the band-aids where it was like a cool one. It wasn't those old like brown tan ones. It was a dope band-aid. It was like Hot Wheels or something, or your favorite cartoon. And that's why you put it on. It was cool. It's kind of how steroids are. Like I said, I wouldn't say the S word. There it is. YouTube, be easy with me. It's just covering up the wound. It's not actually fixing it. A lot of people have these mental issues, whether it's been handed down to them by their genetics, their family, or maybe they develop them because of life experiences. But when you mix in the sauce, the gear, it's not a good situation. It just isn't. It's very hard to justify to me at this point why someone would want to take gear, even if they are a bodybuilder and want to compete. It's just, I don't believe the outcome that you get as an amateur bodybuilder is worth it. So be there for your friends. Be there for your loved ones. Don't disown them for the choices that they make. Know that they're doing the best that they can, and they're getting influenced harder than ever. And you are probably too on your social media. The only difference is you've just decided not to, for whatever personal reasons and life experiences you've gone through your journey. You're just on the other side. You see everything that your buddy sees, but for some reason or the other, your buddy is more influenced than you, and he decides to do it. I'm that buddy. I'm your gear buddy, right? I have been since I was 18 years old. I'm going to tell you a quick story, and I'll end this video. And I still feel bad to this day. I had my friend come over to the house. And before he came over, I spent the last 30 minutes building this insane cycle. Thought it was so cool. I was going to use this compound, and then I would start this one, and then I'm going to increase this one over here, and then I'll put this in, and then I had this, and I had it all on this whiteboard, and I had the weeks and everything drawn out, and when it was going to come in the mail, and what size, everything I was going to use, right? It was all on the board, and I had my buddy coming over, and I couldn't wait to talk to him about this. Keep in mind, my buddy wasn't against all the gear. I mean, he was in a sense where he wasn't going to do it, but he enjoyed, going to the gym. He enjoyed going on hikes. He enjoyed fishing. He enjoyed hanging out with his friends. He enjoyed going to the movies. He didn't want to talk about the gear and the sauce and my cycle. And when he came over, I started just popping off on, look what I'm about to do to my body. And I was talking and talking. I kept on noticing he just didn't really seem interested. He kind of was going on his phone, and I'd kind of get upset. I'm like, bro, are you listening to me? Like, care about what I'm caring about right now, which was literally me about to order all this random shit from this website to put into my body so I could feel better about myself. I was like screaming to my friend, bro, look, I'm going to use all this outside substances to make me feel better about myself. Please care about what I'm doing. And it's almost like without even saying it, he felt bad for me. But I got upset at him. I remember being really upset that he did not want to pay attention to my cycle idea, my new cycle idea, which was probably my 10th idea and how I was going to get big and feel better about myself. He didn't care. He wasn't rude. He just wasn't looking up and listening to me. And I would try to repeat questions back, and he wasn't listening. He didn't really care. He was just kind of phasing out. And I remember being so upset at him. I got in like a fight with him. And I raised my voice, and I was like, bro, why don't you care about this? And he was just like, he's like, I'm sorry. I remember him saying those words, like he apologized to me. Like, what? I was probably 23, 24 years old. I'm 31 now. And looking back at that story and that experience, who do you think was in the wrong? Who do you think really needed help? Probably some therapy. I would love some therapy now. In fact, I'm sure I'll get into some type of therapy here in the near future. I think it's very beneficial. I know I can't fix myself. But what a wild story of a young man trying to improve his self-worth and what he thinks about himself without digging into the core of why I really felt like that. Bless my friend's heart. He'll never see this video, but I still love that person. We're not really close anymore because life does its thing and pulls us away. But yeah, you're not going to convince your friend to get off of the gear. Please don't fear monger them, meaning please don't tell them all these crazy side effects. In certain situations, rarely I've seen that work. But then they're going to do their own research and get on Reddit and look up shit and talk to someone else. And they'll say, oh my gosh, your friend who exaggerated all those side effects, which were probably very real. He's wrong. If you use this medication, you can mitigate this and that. It's just not the way you want to go about it. If you have a loved one, if you have a friend that you care about who is using, and you know that's not their best selves, and they could be a lot healthier version of themselves, just being their natural selves. Like, what happened to that? What happened to just being you? There's so much more important gold, let's call it, beneath the physique than externally. But we live in a day and age where the way you look physically for guys and girls is everything. And all of your self-worth depends on how you look. Be patient with your friends. Love your friends through this journey, just like my friends loved me through mine. I'm very lucky. I love you guys. If this video helped you, please share it with a friend, subscribe, stay a while. I would like this channel to grow so it can reach some more young men and women who may be on the verge of deciding whether or not to go down that road. And in my humble opinion, I don't want to give anyone advice or tell anyone what not to do, but I don't think you should do it. I think you're killing it just the way you are. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.